Hello Sumeti, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we'll be learning how to make a palazzo trouser with a band and a side zipper. So I'll be showing us how to fix the band, like the ready-made trouser band. So if this is like what you want to know how to make, you can stick around. Let's get started. So I have the 2 yards of this purple fabric. It's crepe, okay? It's the thick crepe I'm using, not so thick. Then I have my measurements, my hip measurement, my waist measurement, and the full length of the trouser. So the first thing I want to do now is to mark like 3 inches away from the upper part of the paper. I will mark it and I will roll it across. Then on the sides of the paper, I will mark 2 inches away. So the ruler I'm holding is 2 inches measurement. So I'm just going to place it and roll it across to the hem of the paper. So the reason why I'm rolling 2 inches away now, it doesn't really apply to me though, but if you're making a trouser, to be on the safer side, add 2 inches to the side, because sometimes the laps are so big that it doesn't fit into your normal measurement that you have. So the 2 inches by the side helps you. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to get my hip height measurement, which is 8 inches. The hip height is where your hip measurement, your hip circumference will be measured on. That's your hip height. So it is measuring 8 inches from my waistline. So I'm going to label the first line the waist and the second one the hip. The next one now is to get the crush. Okay, so how do you get your crush? You will divide your hip measurement by 4 plus 1. So if I divide 41 by 4, it will give me 10.25, okay? Plus 1, it will give me 11.25. So the crush measurement for this trouser is 11.25. So I'll go ahead and mark it and I will roll it across. Then I will label it as the crush. Then after that, the next thing you want to do is to get your towel measurement. Usually your towel measurement is 2 inches away from your crush line. And like I said earlier, my ruler is measuring 2 inches. So I'm just going to place it and roll a line to serve as the towel line. So we all have the horizontal line ready. So we're just going to be taking our circumference measurement and all the lines we've created. So the first one we'll be working with is the hip measurement, which is 41 divided by 4. It will give me 10.25. So I will go to the hip line and I will mark 10.25. On the crush line, I will mark 10.25. On the waistline, I will also mark 10.25. Then I'm going to connect a straight line, connecting from the waistline to the crush line. Please take note. So after connecting the lines like so, you can see what we have. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to impute my waist measurement. Now my waist is measuring 33 divided by 4. It will give me 8.25 approximately. So I'm just going to impute it 8.25. That's the measurement. Then I'm going to mark 8.25 on the waistline like so. Then I will now go ahead and connect it. Now don't forget that it is a dartless trouser we are making. If you want to know how to make a trouser with that, you can tell me in the comment section and I will share the video with us. So now that we've gotten the waist measurement right, I want to get the full length of the trouser. It is 39 inches. So when I measure 39 inches, I will add extra 2 inches for hemming allowance, okay? So altogether, I'm marking 41 inches altogether. So I'm going to read the 2 lines across the main full length of the trouser and the extra 2 inches for the hem, okay? So after rolling it, I will just go ahead and label it accordingly. So after that, the next thing you want to do is to get the midpoint, the nail measurement of the trouser. So what you do, from the crush length, measure to the full length of the trouser, divide it by 2 and come up by 2 inches, okay? So when you measure from your crush length, you measure to the full length of your trouser, divide it by 2. After dividing it, you come up by 2 inches. You just roll a straight line across it. That's how to get your new measurement in case you did not measure it on your client, okay? So now we have to get the crush extension. So what you do now, that hip measurement that you measured on the crush part now, you are going to divide it by 4. So when you divide it by 4, whatsoever it gives to you, you extend the crush part by it, then you connect with your curve ruler. To get your crotch extension, this curve we just made, divide your hip measurement by 4. Whatever it gives you is what you use to extend the crotch, okay? So now I want to get the midpoint of the trouser, okay? So I'm going to divide and get the midpoint like so from the crotch now. You know, from the crotch extension, I divided it into 2. Then I'm going to extend it. I'll just take the marking straight to the lower part of the trouser, okay? I hope you understand this part. So after doing it that way, I'll connect a straight line. The reason why we're doing this is so that we are able to impute the tile measurements, the nail measurements, and the ankle measurements, okay? That's why we're doing this. So after doing this now, the next thing you want to do now is to impute your tile measurement. My tile measurement is 24.05. So when you divide it by 4, whatever it gives to you now is what you're going to impute. So I'm going to divide it into 2 first on my tape, 24.05. Then I'll divide the other half into 2 to get a quarter of it. So whatsoever it gives to me now, I will go to the tile line and I'm going to mark it side by side, starting from the midpoint of the trouser we've just created, okay? So if it's 6, I will mark to the left and I will mark to the right. So the same way we divided the tile measurement, we are going to divide the new measurement. So whatever your new measurement is, divide it by 4, okay? So when you divide it by 4, you mark to the left and you mark to the right, okay? So after that, we will be doing the same thing to the ankle too. Divide your ankle measurement. Now, it is usually 14 for the ankle, okay? Majority of it, but you know some people they have bigger ankles. So when you measure, whatever measurement it gives to you, that's what you will impute. So I went ahead to impute 3.5 to the left, 3.5 to the right. On the hemline, I did the same thing, okay? So I hope you're not confused at this point, and if you're confused, you can ask question. So all the markings I've made now, I'm just going to connect everything together. So I'm going to grab my ruler. I'll be connecting from the lower part, from the ankle part to the knee, okay? You can see what I'm doing. So after doing that, now I'm using my normal measurement so that we don't get confused when I want to extend it to get the palazzo part. That's why I'm just making it straight here. So let's say in case you're making a fitted pencil trouser, you can do it this way. This one I'm doing right here is how to get your pencil trouser. So the palazzo part now, we're going to add extra inch to it to open the ankle part, the nail part also. So now you can see me connecting all the lines, but please take note of the way I am placing the ruler, because if you do not want, you see that the trouser did not give any ear. I didn't make any adjustment at all. That's because of my curve, like the way I'm placing my ruler to make the curve. So if you're not careful, you're just going to make your trouser and it's going to give you ear by the side, like you're just going to have some part of it popping out. So now this is what we have. The next thing we want to do now, you know, is not a fitted trouser, it is a palazzo trouser. So before I will go ahead to draft the back, because we are drafting the back pattern together, I will extend it. So on the nail part, I came out by 1/2 inch on both sides, okay? You can see that the nail of the trouser is not fitted at all. It's just the towel that is fitted. Then on the lower part, I marked 1.5 of an inch to the left and 1.5 of an inch to the right. That's how big I want the lower part of the trouser to be. So I'm just going to connect this line and reconnect straight to the crotch area and the towel area, okay? So you can see what I'm doing here like this. You can see me reconnecting the new markings I've made. So can you see? I'm connecting the 1.5 from the lower part to the 1/2 inch on the nail line. You can see what I'm doing. So if you want it to come out exactly the way it is on my body from the beginning of the video, you have to follow all the steps, and this is how I did it, okay? So on this part, from the nail line to the crotch area now, I have to connect it like so. So after connecting it, I realized that this part, it was too like sharp inside. So I'm going to like blend it a little bit. So you can see what I'm doing to the sides of it also. See the way I'm placing the ruler. All of this, I'm placing the ruler inverted. Why? Because I don't want it to give me any ear, like any part of it popping out. Do you understand? So after doing it this way, the next thing I will go ahead to do now is to, I'm just showing us the extra inches I added to create the palazzo part. So now we want to draft for the back pattern, okay? So for the back pattern now, on the waistline, I will mark 2 inches away, and on the hip line I will mark 2 inches. I'll connect a straight line. Can you see what I'm doing? Then after connecting a straight line, the next thing I will do now, I will extend the crotch area. So how do you get the crotch for the back? Whatsoever measurement you use to get the crotch for the front, add half inch to it to get for the back. So let's say the crotch for the front is 2 inches. You add half inch to it, it will give you 2.5, okay? So when you mark it now, you're going to come down by half an inch, because the crotch part, you have to make it lower a little bit. So you come down by half an inch. It's from that half an inch you came down with that you will now connect the new curve for the back pattern, and you blend it to the 2 inches extension we've just made, okay? So now the 2 inches we've made now from the waistline straight to the hip line, you're going to extend it straight to the lower part of the trouser. So you can see me that on the nail line I marked 2 inches. On the full length of the trouser, I marked 2 inches. On the hemline, I marked 2 inches. So I'm going to connect all the lines together like so. From the 2 inches I've marked. Now don't forget that the 2 inches is only going to be on the center of the trouser. You don't need the extra 2 inches by the sides of the trouser. Okay, so please take note of that. So after doing that, I realized that this part was too sharp inside, so I decided to blend it a little bit to give it a very nice curve. Okay, so you can see what we have. So after doing it like this now, the pattern is ready for both the front and back. So for you, if you're new, you are a beginner, for you not to confuse, I will show you how you are going to go about it. So now on this, you know that we've added the 2 inches straight down. Now the upper part of the waistline, you know the back side, you need to raise it up with 2 inches also. So I marked 2 inches upwards. So I'm just going to connect a slant line to that 2 inches from the waistline like so. Do you see what we've done? So from there now, I will, on the center of the front pattern, I came down by half an inch and connect. So I will just go ahead and cut it out. Then you see the pattern that we've created for the trouser. So if you want a trouser that look exactly like what you saw at the beginning of the video, this is how I made it, okay? So now this is the pattern fully cut out. The next thing I will do now, I will fold my fabric into 2, and I will place the pattern on it so we can cut. Like I said, the extra 2 inches we added on the waistline and to the center of the back, that is the back pattern, okay? So now I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into 2, and this is me cutting on the fabric, cutting the pattern on the fabric. So I'm just going to trim everything out, then we can now go ahead and cut the front pattern. So here now the back pattern is cut out. I'm going to remove the pins. So now for us to get the back pattern, all the extra inches we added now, all the 2 inches extra we added, we are going to cut it all out to get the front pattern. So this is how I do I don't draft front and back together when I'm making my trouser. But if you're confused though, I'm going to drop a link to a video where I drafted the front and back separately for beginners so that you don't get confused, okay? So you can see that I'm trimming out all the excesses I've added, like the 2 inches I added. I'm trimming it all out because that's only meant for the back pattern. So after trimming it out, you see the waistline for the front. You know I came down by half an inch and I created a slant. I will also remove that part. Then the next thing I will do now, you can see me removing the slant I made on the waistline. It's just so it fits properly to your waistline. So I'll fold my fabric into 2 and cut. And this is what the back pattern look like. In case you're confused and you're a beginner, there is a video on how to draft the front and back separately. I'll drop the link in the description box. So I'm just going to join it right side facing right side. I'm just going to join it with half an inch. I will join the back pattern. So don't forget that it is the crush part we are joining. When you're making your trouser, first part to join is the crush part. The front part, you will join the crush together. The back part, you join the crush together. So this is the back, I've joined the crush, and this part I'm bringing now is the front. I've also joined the crush. Okay, so now you just spread it open, place it right side facing right side. So we are going to pick the lower part, which is the crochet extension part, together. Then we are going to pin it together. You make sure that the joining, they are meeting, they align. Okay, so you pin it down. So when you pin it down, now you're just going to, I'll go straight to the sewing machine and I will sew it. You see how I'm arranging it? So I'm just going to sew it straight down, and I will sew the other side straight down. Then I'll come back, we'll go to the next phase. So here now I've gone ahead to sew. You can see that the crotch part of the trouser is already been sewn. So now we're going to sew the sides. Okay, so for the side now, I'm just going to sew both sides down, but on the left side, don't forget that your zipper is meant to be by the left side. So now I'm just going to mark, like you see me placing the zipper to know, I'm going to mark 6 inches downwards to know where I will be sewing on. So from that part that I mark 6 inches downward, that's where I will sew, and that's the left part of the trouser. Please take note of that. So I will join both sides together and come back. So here now I've gone ahead to join both sides of the trouser. Okay, can you see what we have? So now the next thing we have to do now is to attach our band before fixing zip. So when you're attaching band, measure the round waist of the pants, measure it round. So after measuring it round, it is the measurement it gives to you now. That's what you will use to cut your band. Let's say measuring your trouser waist round, you got like 40 inches. So that's what you will use to measure on your band. I already cut these pieces out. I had to join it because it was not long enough. But please make sure you have a whole band for your own. The width is 5 inches, okay? Then the length, I'm just going to make it the measurement of the trouser that I've just measured around. So the next thing I want to do now, I'll fold it into two. Okay, then I will iron it properly. Then I folded the edge inside again by 1/2 inch, but the folding of the edge was not needed, but I did it anyway. So this is the band. You can see how I've gone ahead to iron it properly. So I'm going to bring the trouser, then we are going to attach. So what we'll do now, you are only going to attach one part of the band first. Take note, you attach one part of the band first before putting the zip. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to open the band up. You can see me spreading the band open. I'm going to open it up and place it around it. So I'm just going to sew it one part though. I open the band up, take note. Then I'm going to place it around the waistline and sew it all around one part of the band. Make sure that it is right side of the band that is facing the right side of the trouser. Okay, so please, I know maybe you've noticed the way I'm sanding. I'm currently having cold. Okay, so here on the sewing machine, I'm just going to, please take note, one side of the band first. If you don't want to go through the stress, just attach your band to your trouser like you normally do. But I just want a very neat finishing. That's why I'm doing this. Okay, so now I'm just going to sew the band round it. Remember that the band, I spread the band open before I am sewing on it like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew it around it. The sewing of this trouser is very easy. The band is the major work, the band and the zipper. So if you're still watching at this point, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share, comment, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. Okay, so you can see me fixing the band all around. So after sewing it all around like this, the next thing I will do now is that I will go ahead to attach the zip. Okay, so here like this, I've gone ahead to attach the band. So the next thing now is to attach the zip. Now see what we have. Please pay close attention to this part. So what you do now, first of all, I'm going to, on the zipper area now that we left, I'm going to mark my zipper allowance. I'm using 1 inch. So the 1 inch now, I'm marking it straight down. Okay, so I joined this pant with 1 inch all the way because why? I added extra half inch to it when I was cutting on the fabric. Okay, so please, that's what I did. If you do not add any inch to your own, make sure you are joining with half an inch. And on this zipper part, okay, you are only marking half an inch away. The same amount of inches you use in joining the trouser around, the same amount of inches you are using as your zipper allowance. Okay, just take note of that. So after marking the line all through, you know how to fix your invisible zipper. So you flip it the other way, then you can see how I'm holding the zipper. That's how you put it on it. So you make sure that the iron part is at the edge of the band. You know, we already have a gator line on the midpoint of the band. That's where the iron of the zipper should rest on. So you just go ahead and sew it this way. Now I'm dropping a very detailed video. I know this one was quite fast because the video was already becoming too long. I have a very detailed step-by-step video on how to attach band and how to fix this zipper properly. Okay, so what you've done here now, you can see that I've sewn the zipper to the end. So the next thing you want to do now, we want to cover the upper part of the zipper, like the head of the zipper now. We want to cover it with the other side of the band because you know that is only one side of the band we've sewn. So you can you see what I'm doing? So what you do now, fold it in, fold the head of the zipper in, then you fold the other side of the band on top of it. Do you understand? So you just go straight to your sewing machine and run it down. But don't run the band completely. You leave like 1/4 inch so that you use it to fold it in when you are turning the other side of the band. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm basically just folding the band on top of it. Can you see what I'm doing? So when you get to like 1/4 inch remaining, you tighten it. So after you tighten it, and when you turn it over, this is what it will look like. Can you see what we've done? You can see what we've done. So now you turn it, just turn it to the right side. Can you see how neatly done it is? This is what we've done. So I'm going to repeat the same thing now to the other side of the trouser off camera to save our time because it's actually really long. So after doing that, this is what we have. I've gone ahead to fix the zipper to the other side and also close the band. So what we want to do now, you know I told us that don't sew the band to the end completely. Leave like 1/4 inch that you will fold in. And that's what I'm doing here. You can see me that I'm folding the other side of the band in to pin it. Like we're folding the second side of the band to cover the other side that we've already run round to the trouser. So we're using this one to cover the other stitches. Okay, so that's why when I said I wanted neat finishing, this is what I meant. Okay, so you will just be folding it in to cover the other stitch. So I will do that off camera. I'm going to fold it all around and pin it all around. Then I'm just going to zoom it for us to see how I will be sewing it so that we don't get confused. So here now I've gone ahead to pin. You can see all the pins. You have to pin it closely so that it doesn't move. Okay, so now we're just going to sew. Go straight to the sewing machine and I'm going to be sewing closely on the same seam line. Okay, the seam line we already have there, that's what I'll be sewing on. So this is also on the machine. I didn't know that it wasn't really showing very well, but you can still see the seam line I'm sewing on. So the purpose of this is so you see the exact part I'm sewing on is the same seam line that I've sewn on before. I'm repeating it on so that you don't have extra thread showing on the band. You know, from the beginning you didn't see any extra thread showing on my band. This is how I made it. So I'm just going to make a quick stitch like this all through the whole band. I will sew it all around, all through. Then when I'm done So by the time I'm done, this is what we have. You can see the inside. You can see the stitches. The stitches are only showing on the inside. So this is what I wanted to achieve, and I achieved it. So after sewing it like this, now we're done with the band. I've closed one leg, like I have hemmed one leg of the trouser. So I will show us how to do the other side. So what you do, we added 2 inches when we were drafting. So you mark the 2 inches on both sides of the trouser. Why are you marking? So that when you fold it in, you know that you're not exceeding the 2 inches you added as your hemming allowance. If not, it will be shorter. And if you did not take up to 2 inches, it will be longer than your normal measurement. Okay, so now this is me folding it in. Okay, so I will make sure that the folds are equal. So I'm going to check for the other leg that we've already sewn now to see if they are equal, if the fold I've made is equal. If it's not equal, I'm going to adjust it. Okay, so you just make sure that they are equal and your sewing is aligning neatly. Okay, so you can see me folding it. Don't forget that you're folding it twice inside. So I folded the other part, so I'll go ahead and fold this other part. This method of hemming the lower part of your trouser is very easy. Fold the both edge, pin it down. Now after pinning it down, by the time you stretch it, it will fold automatically. The whole part of the trouser leg is folding on its own. Okay, because you've already folded the both edge. So when you fold it, you make sure that the seam lines are meeting too. So you can see. So by the time you stretch it in like this, can you see what we have? So I'm just going to place it to the sewing machine like so and run a straight stitch. I'm just going to sew it round, and we are done with the trouser. And this brings us to the end of the video. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, comment, like, and subscribe. To all my returning subscribers, thank you so much. I'm really grateful for your support, for your like, for your comments. I'm grateful. There will be no comment fashion on YouTube without you, and I'm grateful. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you can see more detailed video that I will be uploading. So you can see that I'm still sewing the hem of the trouser. By the time I'm done, that will bring us to the end of the video. So please, if you want the trouser to be exactly the way it is on my body, follow every step, except there's something you want to alter. Okay, if you did not follow the steps, it's not going to come out exactly as you've seen it in the video. So this is what I have. You can see how neatly done it is. So I'm just going to show us the other side of the band so that you can see. This is the outside of the band. You can see that the seam lines are not showing. So this is what I mean. So now this brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and you can see how neatly done the band is on my waist. Can you see how nice the band is? So thank you, and see you in my next video. Bye.